Right, wait for it to come up. Come on. There we go. Right, it's found it. So hello, welcome back. Missed last week, unfortunately. I had something come up, which seems to be happening more and more nowadays. But yes, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Science Mode, part 47, I think. I don't know. We're basically up to things happening. Probably attempt and approach at Eve, which I've been thinking about, and I think I might need to modify a few aspects of the approach. So I think I want to try hitting Eve a little bit lower in the atmosphere, and I also want to try setting up and staging all the parachutes just in case we lose communication with the thing as it's because we're kind of like potentially going around, like coming into Eve around, like we might not necessarily have communication with Kerbin at the time we actually enter, so I'd like to have the parachutes automatically staged, ready to go if in case I can't actually stage them whilst it's but yes. That will be the plan. So we're gonna get straight into it. I think we're gonna go straight for this Eve attempted Eve landing, which could go horrendously wrong. It was attempt capture at and potential landing on Eve. But the plan is going to be to modify the deceleration burn, so that where is it? We want the Eve sample return, which has a maneuver in 16 days. So we will fly you straight to in-flight. Wait for the sound of okay, right. So we're in the space. That's what we're doing. Yes, so we have, so double check, we have, yeah, so this is a capture, is the next thing that's happening. So, I was thinking if we do have a more decent communication dish here. Just in case we need something a bit more. I don't recall if we have a transmission system on this section of the on the actual landing platform. Yeah, so we go to the map screen. Zoom out. If we focus on Eve, we have our maneuver, which at the moment puts our Eve Periapsis at 60 kilometers. I was looking at the Eve atmosphere chart, and it's still quite thin up at 62 kilometers. So I'm thinking maybe drop it, try and manipulate this maneuver a bit so that we get so we do radial in. Right. Okay. Get this down to about 45 kilometers. That should hopefully be enough. Again, we might burn up, we might capture, I don't know. But this is a 12-minute burn, it's happening. Let's see our maneuvers in 16 days, 4 hours. This is 25 minutes, so it's about right. So we should hopefully finish the burn. Actually, no, because we'll be starting the burn in. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have Yeah. So the question is, 16 days time, like the position of Kerbin relative to E is probably not going to change. So Kerbin is currently there, so we are probably going to be on the wrong side of Eve when we actually go behind it. So yeah, I'm thinking if we modify this a little, like I'm guessing we have to go for each of these parachutes individually, which is going to be annoying. Can be pointed up on either node. I think the min pressure here. So yeah, the altitude. So you can tell by the altitude, I think. That yeah. So the 1,000 altitude is. Oh, let's just time up a little just to stop that rotation. So yes, so yeah, I think you can tell. Like, oh no, it's still going to rotate. That's fine then. So you can tell by the altitude. So the 1,000 ones we want to like. Because min pressure 0.4. Like I'm thinking like, what does this go up to? It goes up to 0.75. I'm thinking like 0.5 for the 0.5 for the main chutes and then 0.3 for the drogues. So of course we're going to have to make sure we've actually... This is the main chute because there's just so many parachutes to go around. So we've done this one. Let's go around the outside ring first. So this one is 1,000, so we want this to be 1.5. 2,500, so we want this to be 0.3. So we want these to go to lower pressure than the main chutes. So yeah, let's go around the outside first. And I hope we don't forget any of them. 0.5, 0.5, 0.3, 0.5. So that's the outer ring, I think. These have all been done. This one is a drogue, so 0.3. This is a main chute, so 0.5. This should be a drogue, so 0.3. This should be a main chute, so 0.5. And we've got parachutes on the, so that should be all the parachutes, I think. That is a truss adapter. So that's all the ones on the outside, and we've got these ones, which again is going to be fun. Let's just do the top side first. If we can see a 0.3, 0.5, 0.3, 0.5, 0.3, 0.5, and just keep going around. 0.5. Zero point 0.3, 0.5, 0.3, 0.5, and let's just hope that this is like we're actually slowed down enough when we get into the atmosphere. And that should leave one side left, which is here, which is going to be fun to try and... Where have you gone? There you are. Nope. 0.3. 0.5. I probably forgot. I probably missed one because I did put a lot of parachutes on this thing. But so long as I miss them evenly, we should be fine. So that's just going to be 0.3 and 0.5. Okay, then if we go back around here, then this should already be changed. This should be, yep, cool. I think that's all of them. So yes, we have our chutes set up. We now I now want to do the staging so that yes, so we want this thing to stage. Then we want to stage the chutes before we stage these. But yeah, so we want to basically move this up so that we then, because the idea is that we stage all the chutes are staged and ready, and they'll automatically deploy when the pressure is right. And then if we lose communication, then in theory, so long as we're pointing the right way, we're pointing retrograde, then it should always happen automatically. We might not be able to deploy landing gear or stage or anything, unless there is something else we can bounce a signal off of. But it might be a case that we just like lose this thing. But yeah, I think we're ready to go. So we get rid of the Eve sample return capture. We delete that, and then we do this thing. So we've got a 12-minute burn time, which again should be fine. So we do the burn, we stage, then we deploy these things. Hopefully before we get too far around. Yeah, let's just try it. And then if it explodes horribly, it explodes horribly. Which it very well might do because this is Eve, and I've never done Eve before, and I hear that Eve's atmosphere is pretty punishing. So this may be a horrendous loss. But there's only one way to find out, so let's do it. So in theory, like Eve should appear from ahead of us, or like from that direction. There it is. There's Eve. Cool. Well, yeah. So let's see what happens. 45 seconds to burn. Like this is a big purple boy. Supposedly, so final boss of the base game. I don't know what it is of the when I don't know if there's any like more difficult like takeoff jobs in the Outer Planets mod, but actually I probably want to retract that. I probably want to leave this, like, be able to deploy and retract this as necessary, because if we well, as we enter the atmosphere, we're going to want to retract that because we don't want to lose it. Oh, start burning in 7 seconds. Because we're probably going to lose communication otherwise. And we'll see what happens, to see what the atmosphere does to this thing. We should have a few minutes, hopefully, where we can actually we retain contact and we can deploy all of these. Okay, I think we can go to high speed. Again, there's no do-overs here, so if this goes wrong, it goes wrong, but, you know, we'll have tried, which is the main thing. Should probably do some attempts at screenshots, because you never know when we're actually going to lose. It's not really a great visual, but I'll just got to remember to take screenshots, because if we do lose the mission, then I'd rather not have forgotten to take screenshots up until that point. Okay, so I have no idea what will happen. This thing might just fully deorbit and land. Like, we might go straight from capture to landing. We might enter orbit. Like, I don't know. So I'm going to go in. So the plan is to go in on the assumption, or like in case we do decide to come down to land, and we do so out of signal. So we just need the parachutes to be staged and everything. And if not, then we come down when we come down. And then hopefully, like, no matter what happens here, we'll hopefully be getting some Kerbals back to Kerbin as well this evening. Let's go back to normal speed. Again, not the end of the world if we ever do this. So we'll see what the signal is like when we stage, because we're using a less powerful transmitter. So we might lose signal entirely. We're on like 3 bars at the moment. So like what, 4 bars at the moment. So hopefully. Okay, that'll do. Right, so moment of truth. We are done. What's our thing looking like? Okay, looks like we're getting. Okay, looks like we're capturing and then landing on the next one. So, however, that's how we are currently. With these, it's probably going to change. So, so we have our thing extended. We stage like so. we hit the shoots, because this is probably going to change once these we go for retro. Should have done that before we staged, to be fair. I want to just finish clear, because hopefully this thing is going to burn up and not crash into us, because we're going to be producing more drag than it. Inflate. 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 That should hopefully give us a bit more... Oh yeah, we're coming down. Where are we coming down? We are coming down somewhere. Cannot see where we're coming down, but we're coming down somewhere. So this is going to be a... Again, I have no idea if this is going to work. So if we retract antenna, do we lose? We do lose communication, but we do have partial probe control? Limited probe control. Okay, that's fine. So we extend the antenna, we get full probe control, I think. Cool, but we're not going to get much probe control when we're going around the backside of Eve, so we're definitely hitting the atmosphere on the thing, but I don't want to... Yeah, okay. Right. So again, this thing should be fully parachuted up, so hopefully we'll... Where is Kerbin from? Kerbin's over there, so yes, we're definitely coming on the wrong side. I don't think we're going to be able to bounce signals from anywhere else. So, how are we doing for power? We're consuming some, but we do have a lot, so hopefully we should be fine. I do not want to become famous. I want to ban you, that's what I want to do. Right, so we have 9 minutes till Periapsis, which is probably going to be... So I'm going to keep an eye on the signal. We don't want to... So, yes. So it looks like we're definitely going to capture. This thing's going to capture and then come in. Well, that thing's probably going to explode. Right, so we're still 400,000 meters. When do we pass into... Okay, so in theory, I guess we lose communication about there. So I think it's probably just best to stow the antenna and just let physics do its thing. Okay, I think yes, we're approaching on parabolic trajectory, so I think. Yeah, so it's doing the fly. It's got the camera in like flyby mode. So yeah, it's pretty much out of our hands now. It's basically down to whether or not the like physics. I'm hoping we can stage these at the right time, at the appropriate time, but because I don't want to lose. I don't want to like, yeah. Hopefully, if we slow down. I guess we're just going to do it. See what happens. Yeah. This is the first time I'm going to try landing something on Eve, so it could easily go wrong. Let's fast forward down to. Okay, we're approaching. Looks like we might be landing in water. Yeah, if we land at all, which big if. I'm just kind of hoping that these things are high enough up that these things won't be like the parachutes won't get blown up by it. Basically, once these become green, once these go green, wow, that did not take long. I guess we can watch this thing. I mean, it's probably going to explode before it hits the ground, before it hits the water, but that was spectacular. That did not take very long at all to explode. This thing is surviving quite well. So they're not wrong. Eve's atmosphere is quite. Eve's atmosphere is pretty brutal, turns out. Well, it might survive. Eve's atmosphere is quite thick, so maybe it'll slow down enough that it'll survive impact. We're coming down over water, or coming down? It looks like we're coming down over land, actually. So it looks like the point in the middle of the heat shields is what went, and that took out the entire thing. So I'm guessing we need to have like a central heat shield as well, not just those four. I mean, I guess we can viz what. It's probably not going to be going slow enough to survive like impact, but then you never know, it might. We should at least get some hopefully get some orbital information science from Eve at least. Oh yay, clouds. Oh yeah, we want the Eve's atmosphere is 5 times thicker than Kerbin's, so you never know, it might be travelling slow enough to survive. If it gets down below like 9, then it'll be fine, but I'll be surprised if it does. It's a good thing we're only Kerbals in this thing. This is why we're sending unmanned probes. Forty meters per second, so it's probably going to be a loss on impact, but you never know. We're definitely deep in Eve's atmosphere now. 6 kilometers. probably an idea not to try hitting it immediately from orbital velocity. But it's good to know that like we would have error captured even without the heat shields at that altitude, so we don't have to be too aggressive with the error braking in future, I don't think. Wow, there is a lot of cloud on Eve. I think this is the environmental enhancements, isn't it? It's just got like a really thick cloud layer. You can kind of see the ground underneath though. 32 meters per second. What direction are we even going in? Probably not going to survive impact to 34 meters per second, but 32 meters per second, but you never know. It's probably going to go bang. But you never know, there might be a physics glitch and it might survive. I've had that happen before. Like, just have random parts just survive impact. For no apparent. Like, I think I've had a Mach 2 lander can just, like, re-enter from Kerbin and just flunk down on the ground. This is probably going to explode, but... Yep. Well, that was fun. Yeah, so the Kerbidine fuel, the big central fuel tank just overheated because I guess because it wasn't like there wasn't a heat shield directly in front of it, so it just got the full yes, it got the full blast. So I think we need to have like you need to have a central heat shield to cover to make sure that everything is covered. Although I think it should have had like multiple heat shields in front of it, so I'm not sure. Oh well. Space Center, bit of a failure, but yeah, this is a learning experience. This is why we sent it. This is why we didn't put any Kerbals on it, because again, I have no idea. Eve's atmosphere takes no prisoners. So we do have some other things to do whilst we're around. I believe there are some Kerbals hopefully coming home soon. So what's next on the... We go on here. We have that station is... Pioneer's Science Lab is 4 hours away from, well... So look at this. So the Dres lander is on, and the Icarus are our next ones. And yeah, there's about... So let's go straight to the Dres lander. That's in 3 days. We've got a few things. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go do some of these things and hopefully have some more success. So yes, the Eve sample return mission has been a failure. That was entirely possible, considering that you know, I've never tried playing with Eve's atmosphere before. So right, so we have a 6-minute burn in 3 days and 4 hours. So that's what we've got here. What do these look like? Presumably we have our... is this our capture? Alright, 1300 meters per second. Again, 6-minute burn isn't that bad for a capture burn, so I think, and our maneuver, that's our solar, our maneuver Periapsis is, actually can we just focus on where it's Dres currently? There's Dres, if we can focus on, wow, we've got really poor signal from here. Seems to be unable to focus on Dres. Oh well. Again, 6-minute burn isn't too bad. Well, yes, our signal is quite bad. So yeah, I don't think we don't have fine control, but we do have some control. We do have full probe control. We just have very weak signal strength. I suppose the question is, again, the inability to focus. There we go, maneuver 1. So I think we are maneuvering on the right side of Dres, so we shouldn't lose any signal. Okay, I'm happy with that. Yeah, Dres lander, and then soon after we have the Icarus maneuver. So we shall do this. Yep, we'll delete this. We shall fast forward and hope that the Icarus alarm doesn't trip us up, but I don't think it should. Edit. Could be turn off kill warp. There we go. Alright. Turn off message. Apply changes. Cool. That's fine. We shall warp to our maneuver. Wherever Dres is coming from. There it is. Okay, it's much more photo friendly. Yeah, Parallax is 102 kilometers, so it should be fine. Is that the Dres Canyon, then I wonder? That big scar thing there. That might be it. I don't know. It looks pretty hefty. Because we want to try and land near there if we can. There we go. We have an Periapsis, so we've captured. It's a little bit different to what we had planned, but that's fine. So I guess we can leave this in orbit for now. This thing ain't gonna go anywhere. It's gonna like quietly circle around. Our next thing is the Icarus. So if we we'll go straight to that because it's only 28 minutes until that. That could be quite a long burn. So we will switch straight to the Icarus. If I recall, it might be a long burn. It might not. I'm trying to remember what it says. This might be capturing at Kerbin. I don't know. What's our maneuver? Okay, we're not quite capturing. This isn't our capture at Kerbin just yet. 1 minute 57 seconds. That ain't too bad. Then we've got a Dres Comsat deployment in 3 hours. One minute burn here. Then I might redo the redo Kerbin, the Kerbin re-entry to spread the burns out. Where are we in terms of our orbit now at the moment? Because I feel like maybe if we're beyond, are we beyond Eve's orbit? We are just past crossing Eve's orbit now. So we can probably do away with the. We can already retract all of these soon because we'll be well out of the range of being damaged by the sun's heat. Again, not a very long burn, so we don't need to bother like time warping this one. We'll just do it straight off. we go. Right, so what's this looking like on terms of our arrival at Kerbin, which Kerbin is here. So at the moment our burn is 7 minutes, which isn't horrendous actually. But I wouldn't mind splitting that into like two, like 3.5 minute burns. So like one on the approach and then one on. Because that's just to fully circularize, and we should have. Yeah, 7 minutes isn't terrible because we're gonna be doing like. Yeah, I'd rather like let's try and set it up. So 1588 is the number to remember. Let me grab my little notepad. And a pen. Let's write down 1588. Because that's what I want to total by the time. So we get rid of that. Then we do a like. So 1588. So we do about like a 3.5 minute burn here. Like so. And obviously that gives us our Periapsis is way too low, but if we do this to return our Periapsis to where we want it to be, 600k. And then we do our second maneuver here. I'll do so. What? Yeah, similar, like a little bit more fuel, but it's like two smaller burns rather than a single bigger one. So, we want to create a lamp. Create a lamp for maneuver. So we add that. Hopefully, it's not going to interfere too much with it's quite nice. It's nicely clear of everything else. What is this? I don't know what that is. Well, I'm sure we'll find out. Right. Dres Comsat deployment is the next thing to worry about. Which again, I assume this will also be capturing. I heard that this will be capturing at Dres. So we can start worrying about this 5-minute burn. And this is presumably our capturing at Dres. was gonna say 5 in a burn isn't too bad. That should be easily doable. So we get rid of this. Okay. What's our communication strength? Well, our signal strength isn't great, 45%. Okay. Let's fast forward to where we're going. Here comes Dres. You can start considering setting up the actual Comnet as well. I'll do. Methinks we're in orbit now. So we've got a Parallax of 194, which is fine. Our parallaxes of that are not super elliptical orbit, but you know, where are we relative to Kerbin? Because I feel like these bigger satellites would probably, because yeah, so like Kerbin's here, so you know if we had like a satellite here, then you might have a little bit better signal, but I don't know. We're pretty far. We're quite far away from Kerbal at this point. Stress gonna start. That's the. I think we can. When's our next? 8 days till the next major thing. So we've probably got enough time to. What's our orbital period of this thing? 3-hour period. So we can fine tune this orbit and get our communication satellites deployed. If I can actually remember where I wrote down the parameters for this thing. This is all my. Sorry, just trying to find where I wrote down my stuff for this particular job. Mimus. There we go. Comnet Dres. 200 kilometer periapsis. 342. So was it 3 hours? So yeah, 200 kilometer periapsis and a 3 hour 7 minute 11.11 second. So the first things first is like. What's our orbit like relative to the ecliptic? Oh, it's probably fine. I mean, I don't think there's not really much. That's point actually. Do we have inclination of? I guess we can. Is there a thing in MechJeb for this? Maneuver planet. I want to change inclination to 0. Create node. So that'll change our thing to an equatorial inclination, which I'm happy with. Just cheat a bit and use MechJeb. So we'll do a maneuver. Then we start correcting our periapsis and apoapsis. That's what we want them to be. And also where we want them to be as well, actually, because I'd like the periapsis to be on this side of the planet so that we are facing Kerbin, which is over there. So I guess if we raise the periapsis like here, then it should move it around. Yeah, we can worry about that when we get to it. But for the start, for now, we have a 3 second burn. So quite not a very long burn. I feel like make it 3 times as long. Again, because we're doing like orbital maneuvers now, it's probably not going to be too much of an issue to. Oh yeah, 10-second burn, much better. Passing the 1 hour mark. So we should pass out of communication range. Or not. So this should hopefully correct our inclination so that we're equatorial, at least to Dres. Okay, that should give us a pretty decent inclination. Right, so next thing up is we want, so Kerbin is over there. We want our deployment zone to be nicely on this side. So ideally, I guess if we do a maneuver here. Doesn't seem to be doing what we want. I guess the Periapsis being Parallax being there shouldn't be too much of an issue because we're still going to be within view of Kerbin, so as long as we're not behind this thing when it happens. Yes, we do that, then we go around, we lower our apoapsis to 342.915, which should hopefully give us a 3 hours, 7 minute and 11 second. So yeah, this is going to be a very slight burn. In fact, 1.7 meters per second, we can do this on RCS because we should have a fair bit of RCS fuel with us. Yeah, monoprop 120. That should be plenty. So yeah, we can do this one on monoprop. What does this mean? Remote control from vessel. Okay. Oh, I see. So yeah, I'm guessing that we have communication from the Dres ship. Yeah, nice. So that does work. That's why the signal's stronger, because of that ship's a lot closer. So yeah, so one of the pilots in that little ship in the KSS Intrepid is controlling this probe right now. I think the first time I've actually seen that feature actually being used. Right, so the next thing up is at Periapsis, we want to move our apoapsis. We want to lower it down to 342.915. 3 hours, 7 minutes and 11 seconds, that's pretty much what we want. 5-second burn on the yeah, so we'll do the fine tuning with the monoprop. Hopefully. And then once we've got that, we have our setup. Then we just need to do our satellite deployments. I like the little green lights on the batteries. I think they're on the batteries. Yeah, they are. I'll do 3-7-11. Let's see, that's the timing I want. Okay, so yes, we just have to do 21.12 meters per second of delta V for each. So we need to do 3 loops of this orbit to deploy our 3 satellites. So 3 hours and 6 minutes to go. Let's go to 3 hours 2 minutes. Right. Okay, so let's do this thing. So we start with let's point ourselves retrograde from start, because we're burning retrograde. And we want to go to 2 hours, 20 minutes and 23 seconds. Ooh, very weak signal here. Maneuver, we want it's 2-second burn. 218. No, we want just do it based on time now. 2:20:23 or 24. 1 second burn, we want to do it in 2 minutes. So we want it to be a bit more than probably about 10-second burn. Ooh, 19 seconds, maybe not. Nine-second burn. Since it's retro, we can just point retro and to 2023. Brilliant, cool. Shut down engine, and we can point it there, but it's not gonna keep pointing at the planet. So, oh yeah, sorry. Turn off it pointing retro, because we want it to point that way, although it won't keep. It'll just keep like going. Cool, right, so you are slightly wrong. Can we adjust this slightly? So we're going a little bit, we want to go 711, brilliant. So if we turn on relays, so in Fira, if we go 3 hours 5 minutes, so cool. Keep pointing retro. Oh, I didn't rename the satellite. I'll go around and rename them in a minute. For now, let's just time warp down to our Oh shit, that was way too far. Oh well, do it now. Uh, 42. 220, 220. 23, that's all I care about. Not going to be perfect, but it'll do. As long as they're in sync, that should be fine. We will deactivate this engine. Okay, Dres Comsat free. Dres Comsat. Oh, yes, they've already got vessel names, haven't they? I'd set that up in the thing. Nice. Right, let's see if we can't switch back to this thing, which is now really zoomed out, because why not? Again, 714. If we hit up retro and oop. There we go. 3711. Now we do our one final trip. So 3 minutes, 3 hours, 4 minutes. We want to go to like. Yeah, let's go to that. Cool. And we shall set the final one going. We shall hit up the satellites. We shall activate these, so we have some power generation, and we shall get ready for our little maneuver, which will be a. To be fair, we could probably just eyeball it, but. To 2023. slow. Yeah. To 2023. Cool, that will do. So we deactivate you. You should already have a name. Yep, Comsat 2. Turn off that. Point your radial in for now, but you know, we'll again, it won't actually maintain that. But yeah, so we now have our hopefully 3 satellites in constellation. They're not super strong, but might send a beefier connection up at some point to sort of back this thing up. But essentially, it'll mean that we have communication between the ship and the lander at all times. Is the idea, anyway. As for you, Comsat deployment, your job is done. So what we'll do is we'll get you up to Apoapsis. We'll do a retrograde, drop Periapsis down to like 100 kilometers, and then we'll stage. The Dres system has not really much going on. It's just the one planet, which looks a little bit like the Mun. Okay, 100 kilometers Periapsis. Then we'll recircularize. Yeah, 10-second burn's about right. Yeah, so we do this. We'll lower our Periapsis, we'll stage here so that this thing's got the best chance of deorbiting itself. God, 0.001, that'll do. So if we hit stage now, hopefully. Cool. Right, let's turn off these. Let's turn on debris for a second and see what this is going to do. That is going to just about clip the I mean, we could leave this. I feel like we want to. I do kind of want to watch this thing like crash. So. Hey, we have actually no control over this thing, but. Oh wow, okay. This thing isn't. No, this thing isn't crashing into Dres. It's just going off into. It's just escaping it completely. Okay, that's good to know. Switch back then. It's not going to crash into Dres, then it's going to. Not much point. So that thing's on it. So that thing is yeeting itself out of. This thing is just yeeting itself back out into solar orbit, which is fine. It can do that if it wants to. Probably should have not done it so high up. Anyway, Periapsis is had a maneuver here. Actually, let's just get MechJeb to do a circularization. There we go. "24-second burn." Give us a nice little circular orbit. And hopefully our inclination should still be relatively... so we can use this as our kind of like gauge for equatorialness. And then we can crash it into the surface after we've landed. I will increase the power of these things a bit. Like so. So 14-second burn, that's not too bad. That'll do. 100, 100.2 to 100. Cool, we'll leave this guy in orbit now because I mean we've got pretty decent, nearly equatorial inclination. This will be, as I say, this will be a nice, pretty decent reference for. Do we have landers showing up on this thing? We do not. So what's our lander looking like? Our lander's not looking too far off, but essentially, yeah, we want to match our lander to be equatorial, which we'll do at some point. But the next thing up is Eve things happening. Okay, it's a bit out. But then the lander's got lots of delta V, so we can correct that. I'm thinking if we put the lander in a nice sort of lowish orbit around Dres, then we could do the rendezvous with it and then just land it at some point. I'm gonna try and find this this canyon as well. I thought it might be that, but I might be wrong. Anyway, let's continue on. Do some more Eve things. Whilst you still have some time. So yes, this is our next jobby. What are we doing today with this thing in 5 days' time? In 5 days, we're not intercepting Eve. We're doing a correction burn to intercept Eve in 5 days. Not a very big burn either. Let's make sure that Eve Comnet is not going to screw with us. Let's get rid of that because we're about to deal with this. Yes, unfortunately we're not going to be bothering with the rendezvous at all, so we're just going to be arriving in orbit and then leaving in orbit at some point. So yeah, let's do this. Not really a lot to see here because it's we'll start burning about 5 seconds from node. Okay, can we focus on Eve today? So our Periapsis is above the atmosphere, which is alright. Again, very, very inclined, but not much of an issue. I mean, we'll correct the inclination, no doubt, but yes. But we're not going to hit the atmosphere, which is the important thing. We will add our maneuver here to try and capture at least. Again, 2 minute 18 second burn, but that's with actually, we want to get ourselves sort of down. I just feel like that we're probably not going to be at any risk of interacting with Gillian. If we do, then bonus points. So that's 2 minutes with these turns, presumably all the way down. So what is it with turn all the way up? About 30 seconds. That's not too bad at all for a capture burn. They're only 145 meters per second. Nice. It'll take more than that to lower our orbit, but to be fair, like we're going to want orbit low and orbit high anyway, so yeah, that's in 58 days. Let's add our next alarm here. Maneuver. Return to Kerbin. Capture. Burn. Add alarm. We have Eve Comnet next, which is in 45 minutes. Let's just switch straight to that. Switch to this long boy. 1 second burn time. We can do this with RCS, I think. Oh, this thing does not have need to install a better probe core on this thing. I'm going to have to actually manually pilot it towards where we want to point it. Bit cheeky, just cancel. A little bit cheeky using time warp to. I'll do. Yeah, a little bit cheeky using time warp to do that, but to cancel the rotation. But yeah. Okay, to double check this, I think this is just a good Earth as a standard. Yeah, getting an intercept with Eve should be fine. Have we turned these down? We have turned these down. Okay, that's fine. Pretty much point where we want to point. Yeah, I'll probably do. What's our next thing looking like? Again, the inability to focus view, which is fine. fine. That's what pretty much exactly what we wanted. Okay, so 5 minutes of burn. That gives us a Periapsis of a megameter and Icarus of 16 megameters, which for Eve, have I written this down somewhere? Probably not. There we go. Years. Right, yes, so that is 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, it's about a megameter is what we want. And then 1.7 megameters is the apparatus we eventually want, but we just care about capturing this point. 5 minutes and 7 seconds is not bad, but we can do better because these things are currently rather on low power at the moment. So we can presumably reduce that a little bit by doing this. So that's a 2-minute burn, which is a lot better for a capture burn. And hopefully we should just be able to point this retro when we actually get around to it, rather than worrying about pointing directly at the old maneuver marker. Because they should hopefully be pretty readily aligned by that point. So that's that done. The next thing is the Dres scanner sat in 20 days time. We are currently cooking on 10 minutes. What have we got on this thing at the moment? Because these 3 have all gone. So you should hopefully have science for us to transmit. Dear. Right. Yeah. So we're gonna have some science labs to go around. So I'm thinking maybe because the Intrepid Science Lab is in 12 days' time, so that should have gone by the time we get around to the scanner sat burn. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a Pioneer. Because I don't think the Pioneer is returning before Icarus does. I don't think so. Well, let's just flip round to these. Let's just jump around these and do our science lab transmissions. Because there's like 1,500 science there we can. Of course, this won't be 500. It'll have gone to 499. Does have no power at all. No, it has electric charge, so why isn't the... Oh, well, 1 science a day, that's why. We could take half a day to... Right, so Yeah, transmit science. Delete this. We need to get a lot more. We need to get some more data to put in this. It's got 43 data in it. Like, we need to do another moon landing at some point to get another biome worth of data into here. I think we may actually we may have a bunch of new science equipment to add on to this as well, because yeah, there's not a lot there. Cool, 500 science from you. Let's add that old science lab. This is going to probably be like yes, in like more than a year. No warp, no message. Add that alarm. That's going to be a while. We shall jump to. We already need to relieve that crew at some point as well, actually. Jump to, because they've been here for a few years now. Alright, the Pioneer. We can check what the Pioneer's next maneuver is, because I'm pretty sure it's mid-course correction, not capture at Kerbin. So this thing should be a 496. Delete this. So what is the next maneuver for this thing? I have a feeling it is. Okay, so that's maneuver 2. So maneuver 1 is elsewhere on this journey. Where is maneuver 1? Oh, it's here. Okay. Makes sense. So that's maneuver 1. Yeah, 75 days time. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Worry about that later. At the moment, we have a science lab to fill up. Eight, 9, 500, hopefully. Right. Let's transmit that. Again, 499 science, of course. Right, so let's see what we can actually fit in here, because there's still some data. That is too much, so 600 is too much. Do we have anything less than 600? That is, oh, just a shade. A shade too much. Anything below 525. 480. That'll do. Add in the science lab for this one. Another 30 days, that'll be fine. Switch to the Icarus. Got Jeb, Bill, all the folks there who want to be on their way home now. $492. 8, 9, 500. And transmit. I guess I'm looking at putting a like, I'm thinking maybe if we do a dual a dual like a dual mission. I'm thinking like the main ship going to dual is going to have the bigger science lab on it. The mod part science lab. A bit more fun. I'm thinking I might try and do a dual 5, like, you know, do a landing on each of the moons. Maybe even try a space. Maybe start playing around to space planes or something for Leif. That is cool. How much data? We've got 21 data on here, so what can we fit in? That is too much. You'll fit. 300 will fit. I don't think anything else will fit. 240 won't. So that's what we've got, like 740 data. Add another science lab alarm. Delete this one because this one's no longer. So the next one's a KSS Intrepid, which we'll worry about that when it Wait, why is this? No, we don't want to warp. We don't want to message. Sorry, I forgot about this. Yeah, it's fine. It's cool. Close a lot of details. Close this. The next thing on this radar is we do a transfer window alarm. Planetary transfer window from Kerbin to Joule. When is the next one? Oh wow, okay. There's one in 4 days. I mean, in theory, we should be able to hit that because time doesn't elapse. Okay, let's cancel this because we don't want it to be specific to this ship because this ship ain't going to Joule. The next thing the Dres scanner which we'll do in a second. The Space Center. But we are coming up on 8 o'clock, and I feel like 2 hours is a good place to end it. So I feel like maybe we can do the next batch of things later on. So Joule, and bear in mind that since Joule is 4 days away, I'm thinking maybe we can plan something. We've got 8,000 science. What do we got in science? What do we got in research that we can get for 8,000 science? Like, okay. Huh. Cheetah and the... Well, let's research that because... Didn't realize we needed that. Higher efficiency propulsion gives us... I have a feel that these are parts that we had and they've moved them into different... Yeah, they've moved them into different things now. Increases the trust of the engine. I have no idea what any of these are. Command Center Dome. Experimental science, that gives us a narrowband scanner. ISRU processors. Atmospheric scoop. And this will heat management. I'm not that sure about artificial intelligence. Gives us the computer core and iHal. Orbital megastructures. We are going past 8 o'clock. I will have to decide what else to buy with this, with all this science at some point. But we've unlocked a whole load of parts. Yes, I was going to add the transfer window. Planetary transfer window, which we wanted Kerbin to dual, because apparently there is one in 4 days' time, according to this. So, yeah, I think that's probably going to, like, I shall start having a think. Maybe the next couple of sessions will be coming up with and designing, hopefully, a dual 5 mission. We're not going to have much chance to test anything, so fortunately I think most of the moons are, like, there's only like 1 or 2 moons that have atmosphere. Like, I think only Lave has an atmosphere. Tylo's going to be fun, because Tylo's one of the most difficult to land on. And yeah, let's try and do a dual transfer, see if we can build something that has enough delta V to do it, because I feel like the delta V for dual is pretty hefty. If you're not using, that's the other thing, is like, do I want to go direct to dual, or do I want to use gravity assist? But anyway, I feel like that's probably a good place to leave it. I can decide whether or not I want to try and do a dual launch at 4 days' notice. Might not be the best plan, actually. It might be a case of again, it might be a case of, like, I'll see if I can figure out where, like, how you do a more efficient sort of one using gravity assists, because I think that'll be more interesting. It will mean less fuel required. And I'll see if there's a way of working it, of like planning it, and figuring out exactly how to do it. There's probably like an in-game like time period, like presumably in-game times where it's the best time to set off to do multiple like Eve and Kerbin flybys. But anyway, we'll save the game. And we shall quit to the main menu because we are done for the night. So if anyone has watching, if you're watching on YouTube, or if anyone hasn't watching, then thank you very much. I know I'm not the most entertaining person to watch on Twitch. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then I hope you enjoyed the video and didn't find it too boring. You know, like, subscribe, hit the little bell thing if you want to get notified of the. I mean, yeah. Well, anyway, cheerio.